Welcome to my channel, AquaStarGoddess. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. Hit that bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new goddamn video. Tonight, I got a conversation for that ass. Just us tonight. Now, I want to talk about this because I've become just a lot more aware of specific things that I could not understand for a long time. And it took for me to have to go through different experiences in life in order to gain a better, deeper understanding about what we are going to discuss tonight. So welcome to my channel. If you are new, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new video, and smash the like button. So tonight we're going to talk about, there's room in the game. So come on, get this list, get started with it. Sorry, I'm just going to take down some notes really quickly. Ultimately, we do need to discuss this. You know, I feel like these are the things that my mother needed or wanted to tell me, but maybe didn't have the words to tell me, you know? It's kind of interesting and a little difficult to actually explain these things, but we're going to have to make the very best effort in this video tonight. So what are we talking about? We're talking about those things that your mother tried to explain to you, but maybe didn't have the words to explain to you. We're going to try our best tonight to explain it. And we may have to have multiple iterations of this content and of this video, because it may have to evolve from a verbal sense. It may have to evolve. Okay. So ultimately, when we are younger and we kind of get out into the world and we start to kind of get into relationships and things of that nature, one of the reasons why your mothers try to protect you from getting in situations with people who are vastly older than you is because they've got a lot more experience than you. And with that experience that they have, they know how to operate. They know how to get what they want without having to put in the work or the effort a lot of the time. Now, they also know how to use your emotions against you. And that's the most important part, okay? So when you're young, and your mom is like, you know, don't date nobody that's this much older than you, or that person's too old for you. No, you can't do that. The reason why your mom says that is because people, when you get to a certain age, you understand emotions a lot better. You understand mental states a lot better. You have just more experience. So you have more time to have gone through various different situations and circumstances to gain understanding. So when your mother tells you, oh, you shouldn't date someone older than you, it's because of the fact that she knows and she understands that these people that you may be engaging in, whether it's a man or a woman, and trust me, women and men both do this shit too. So trust it. It just depends upon the person. Every person's not the same, and everybody's not fucking honest. Let's be real. And everybody's not going to go about life in an honest way either. Now, when your mother was telling you about that age difference, most likely what she was trying to convey to you was that there are ways in which people can use your emotions against you. And what that is, I'm trying my damnedest not to use the word emotional manipulation, but that's exactly what it is. It's emotional manipulation in which somebody can understand that because you are, because you have a nice heart, because you're soft, because you're, you don't have the, I don't want to say the bandwidth, and I also don't want to say the, what's the right word? It's like you don't have the true understanding to say no, okay, to someone who may be charming or to someone who could put the charm on you, whether they're being honest or real about their charm or not, or to somebody who can actually see that you have an emotional sensitivity. You have an emotional, you have a caringness about you, and then they want to take advantage of that. So, and maybe the reality is that sometimes people, they like you. And this, the thing about this all is that somebody can like you and you can like them. But if they are emotionally, if they're using your emotions against you, then in some way in the future, that's going to turn out badly, right? Because if this person is used to using your emotions against you, it's going to be difficult for you to see that. And then at some point, it's going to get so difficult when you start recognizing that, when you start seeing that this person has been using your emotions against you, when you start recognizing the tricks that this person uses to use your emotions against you. Oftentimes it might be too late. Oftentimes by then you've already got kind of shit going on. You're kind of in a situation, right? And so what ends up happening is that you get stuck in a situation with somebody who's used your emotions against you. And then there's this thing about projection that happens. People who use emotions against others, they may be somebody who might use projection, which is whatever it is that's going on with them internally, they may project that stuff. And it feels badly to you because it makes you feel like you've done something wrong when most likely you haven't. They could be somebody that is expressing or sharing a lot of insecurities, and those insecurities could make you or cause you to want to almost nurture that person. So what ends up happening when you get to that point is you begin to nurture this person who's going through all these like various different emotional shifts because of whatever it is that they're going through. Most likely, and I want to say this, most likely it is a sense of control, trying to keep you under their control, and they will use all methods necessary to do so. That is considered using your emotions against you, projecting, accusing you of doing things that you're not doing. Okay. And then also there's other ways that this can happen as well. And this is one of the reasons why your mom tells you certain things like, don't date these types of people or do this or do that, right? Because, it's never just one form of bullshit. It's always going to eventually over down the line, down time. It's eventually going to turn into more, right? It's eventually going to continue to escalate. This is why your mom tells you not to do that, right? Because you want to be with somebody who is emotionally mature, somebody who can acknowledge, where they are mentally, emotionally, somebody who can express their feelings without making you feel some kind of way about what they're feeling and themselves and with themselves, right? And I want to be honest with you guys. We all, to some degree, may go through these types of experiences where we are still learning how to work through our feelings and work through our emotions. But the issue with you dating somebody who is much older than you and them still going through that process is that it keeps you under their control, and then you're not even fully aware that that's what's happening, okay? And so it may also keep you from your path of growth as well. And so ultimately what we come here and we discuss and what we talk about is all about your growth, right? And so these are some of the methods that these motherfuckers is going to use, okay? So when it gets to the projection and it gets to the their insecurities kind of coming out in almost an angry way, and yeah, we could say that that's this. It can get to a point where it becomes violent on either end, right? And I want you guys to understand that, like I said, when you're young and you're going out and you're dating, oftentimes you got a lot of growing to go through yourself. You have to go through some of those same things where you have to learn how to manage your own emotions. You have to learn how to, deal with your own insecurities internally and not project those insecurities. But I want you to understand that when somebody has grown like to a big age and they're still dealing with their insecurities in an immature way, and you happen to be the person that is with them, it can be very what's the right word? I want to use the right word here. It can be very challenging for you to grow as an individual, right? Because ultimately we got to grow, right? And often individuals who are much older than the people they choose to date, they want to find a way to continue to use your emotions against you so that you can't move and continue to grow further, right? So So the projections, the insecurities, the emotional manipulation, or the kind of explosive, abusive type of behavior, it also keeps you kind of stuck or stagnant in this little space where you can't actually expand to who and what you're supposed to be. And then what happens is, because this is one of the reasons why my mom said that. I get it now. This is one of the reasons why she was like loving everything. And I get it and I understand that. It's not, but also I think to me it's important. To me it is important, and I don't see myself being in a long-term relationship with somebody I don't love. I just don't see it. I'd rather just be by myself, right? Like, I'm good. But also, the love part that she was referring to, what she said, like love and everything, it's because if you are not in love with somebody, they can't emotionally manipulate you, right? They cannot use your emotions against you if you don't love them or if you're not in love with them, right? Now, the tricky part is just finding someone who's mature enough to understand that you love them, finding somebody who's mature enough to be honest with you about the love that they have for you, and for you guys to actually be able to work through your issues and your problems like fucking adults, right? But we got to admit that there are a lot of people who are not able to do that. They don't have the bandwidth to deal with their own emotions and the shit that they feel and that's going on with them internally to actually maturely work through issues. So your mom is telling you not to date, people that are, way older than you, 10 plus years or whatever, because of the fact that they can see your emotions, they can see your sensitivities often before you can. They often, because they have experience and they've dealt with different types of people and different women or different men, and they've been around the block a little bit, right? Or they've had enough experience with one person that has offered them enough understanding to how you experience life when you're in a relationship, when you're in love, or when different things are going on. So your parents are telling you this because they don't want you to be caught in a situation because of emotional manipulation, okay? In which you can get caught in a totally terrible situation, or just in a situation that's just not beneficial to your highest growth and your highest potential. Because in reality, your parents want you to do your best. They want you to do well, right? They don't want you calling them in the middle of the night, trying to bail your ass out of jail or something like that. Like, I mean, it may happen. It's not saying that it's not going to happen, and then if it happens, it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is, your parents generally, most parents, I can say all, but most parents want you to do well as their children. Okay. And so if they see that there's a potential that there could be a way in which somebody could be manipulating you to steal time from you or to keep you from growing to your highest height, they may tell you this. And sometimes when we are young, we kind of be like, okay, well, we don't see what our parents are talking about if they hadn't explained to us what they're talking about, right? So anyway, let's move forward. So that could be something that your parents are talking about, that emotional manipulation, right? Now, another thing that you may notice in situations that can turn out like that is isolation. Now, personally, I believe that isolation is beneficial to my personal growth in some ways, but not extreme isolation. Okay, let's coin it extreme isolation. Extreme isolation, where in which your family's not around, you don't have your friends around, you don't have people around you that you know and love and trust, and that know and love and trust you, that can call out bullshit when it appears, right? And so that extreme isolation keeps you from being able to see when shit's awry, you know what I mean? Because sometimes there could be so much going on that you can't focus on everything, right? That's why when companies hire people, they hire multiple people, right? Because multiple eyes on the prize, right? Okay, multiple eyes there to watch and to do the job. So this is another thing that you will notice in those types of situations that could end up turning out like that, is somebody that wants to isolate you from all that you know, or from your comfort zone, from your family, or from people that love and care about you, and that will point out bullshit when they see it. Okay. So extreme isolation is something that you should be looking out for. If somebody is encouraging you to move far away from your family, and you know what I mean, like they're not trying to do anything to come around your family, to meet your family, to introduce themselves to your family, to be present in your family's life, if they're not trying to merge the family, because when you become one with somebody, when you get married with somebody, or when y'all get in a relationship, y'all start having kids, y'all should be exploring each other's families. Like y'all should be knowing the bullshit, and you should be knowing, don't take the babies over to Uncle Larry's house, don't take the kids over to this, don't do this, Uncle Harry's the best cook. You know what I mean? Like, you know, certain shit, and you begin to integrate with that family. But if somebody is trying to extremely isolate you from your family and from their family, or both, like even sometimes you might end up being just around their family, but keep in mind and remember that their family is always gonna be down for them. It's so interesting because, like, when my best friend comes down here, she's always like, I'm here for quite a little. I'm not here for you. So I understand you have some issues, but I'm not here for you. And my best friend is probably the best, the one that vocalizes that the most and the most sincerely. I'm not here for you. I'm not here for you. But see, the importance of that is this. When somebody knows that they're not going to be able to manipulate you because you got people that watch you and watch your back. When somebody knows that they're not going to be able to just do whatever with you because your family is out there pointing shit out every time they see something, what's going on with that? You need to check that. You know, your family are present so that they can call shit out when it's present. You know what I'm saying? When y'all are around the family, y'all going to cookouts, y'all going to, you know, holidays and all that stuff like that. When your family's around, they can point the bullshit out. Okay? And that can either cause you to find a way to correct this situation, point it out to your person, or they're going to be gone soon enough. Okay? So extreme isolation is another thing that you have to look out for. If somebody's trying to move you away from your family, if somebody's telling you, oh, we should move here, and I get it. Sometimes jobs happen and people doing all that or whatever. If this is not something that you were already planning to do, like you like, I want to move to, you know, New York and you live in California. If that wasn't something that you was already planning to do and this person is putting this in your mind, then you need to watch out for that. You need to look out for that, because that right there is a key indicator that anything that goes down between you and that person will end up always just being between you and them. And so what can happen is when you and this person do begin to go around your family, this person can manipulate your family and your friends as well. Okay? And so what happens is you look like you're crazy and they look like a saint. And so yeah, and I've seen that happen in multiple ways. But the reality is that this is one of the things that can happen. And all I'm doing is just calling out things that I kind of know. So I just want you guys to pay attention, especially the young girls out there. Just pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Especially for motherfuckers who be out there talking about, oh, if you got more than one baby daddy, but they the ones pulling all these tricks. You know what I'm saying? So that the level of fucking buffoonery is amazing with these men, and there's no fucking accountability. Okay, they talk about we don't have no accountability. Well, only thing I read on you niggas is lacking accountability, you know, lacking responsibility, lacking accountability, lacking awareness of who the fuck you actually are, right? So I think it's important just to kind of point out some of these things. And I'm not saying it's just men, because if I'm being real with you, there's women out here like this too. And some of these things, one or two, we might all have, and then we just have to work through that, because when we start going through insecurities, maybe we learned from our parents how to deal with insecurities, and maybe those weren't healthy methods, right? Some level of any of these we could have is when it's all together. You know, you want to look at all of it. You know, you got to look at every piece. And then the more and more you start to uncover about the person that you are, you know, talking to, that's important. You know, whether or not this person can deal with their emotions without extreme, what is the word? Without extremities. Let's just say extremities, right? Somebody needs to be able to handle their emotions without going from one extreme to the next. Period. If you can't handle your emotions without going from one extreme to the next with little stuff, the big shit is, this is what I'm saying. Like, if somebody can't handle their emotions on little shit, when the big shit start coming out in a relationship, just go ahead and forget it. Just go ahead and forget it. Okay? So that's something you have to look at. How somebody handles their emotions is extremely important. Okay? How someone handles their emotions is, I would say, one of the most important things. Okay? And I'm not just talking about anger. Okay? Because there's many different types of emotions. I'm talking about their sadness. I'm talking about their anger. I'm talking about how they handle overwhelm, how they handle stress, which is overwhelm, but still it's just a different word. Okay, how they handle stress, how they handle loss. Okay, it's important for you to know how this person handles various different things in their life, because that's going to impact you. When you are getting in a relationship with someone, when y'all getting together, everything they do, almost any and everything they do is going to impact you. So you need to know this stuff, okay? And you need to be paying attention and not just taking it lightly. Like, and I know that a lot of people, it's all fun and games until it's not. It's all fun and games until somebody gets shot, right? Like, let's just be honest, okay? You have to know how somebody handles their emotions. And if somebody's trying to isolate you from your friends, your family, things that people that you know, that's an issue, okay? Now, that's not to say that, because in reality, sometimes as we grow, sometimes we need to take time from our friends and family. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone's main intention. They're not trying to come meet your family and friends. They're not trying to, like, get to know who you are around your family and friends. They just want to pull you away from all of that, right? That right there is a sign that someone most likely is going to try to emotionally manipulate you, and that they are going to try to control you. Control is better, is better. But the main point that I wanted to talk about tonight was someone taking advantage of your emotions. Maybe you're a sweet person. Maybe you're a giving person. Maybe you care about doing things in the right way. Maybe you care about, taking care of the things that make people happy. Maybe you like to love on the people that are around you, and you like to make them happy. And it's nothing wrong with that until it becomes excessive. There's nothing wrong with that until it becomes a situation where you are depleted, but other people are full. You know what I mean? Like, if you're depleted and everybody else is filled up, you know what I'm saying? And you feel like you're always giving and giving and giving, and you feel like you're not really receiving back, or there's no reciprocation. That's when this becomes a problem, right? Because then you begin to get stressed out, or you begin to kind of feel overwhelmed, and you might feel I don't know, there's so many different ranges of emotions that you may feel, but this is something that's really important to look at, because it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. And the reality of the fact is, if you're noticing that there's a lack of balance as well within your connection, that's something that needs to be talked about, called out as well. Because lack of balance causes lack of balance. Lack of balance in one area or in multiple areas can cause disharmony in many different ways. So there's something that you have to pay attention to. The main thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, though, was somebody that uses your emotions against you, okay? Especially if you're an empath. If you are an empath, and you can pick up on people's energy, you can pick up on how people feel, it's easy as fuck to manipulate you, because especially if this person knows that by being in a fucking sound Eeyore, like a Eeyore ass energy, your natural inclination is to, are you okay? And that is you giving to that person, giving energy to that person, trying to ascertain what's going on with that person. If that's who you naturally are, and there's somebody that has a tendency to just be in this depressed ass Eeyore ass energy and shit all the fucking time, that person is literally able to sometimes take up way more of your time than they should, way more of your energy than they should. And it starts to look like an energy vampire type situation. You know what I'm saying? It starts looking like an energy goddamn vampire, motherfucker. You know? So I just want you guys to be careful of those things. There are many things. There's many more things that go along with this list, but I really just wanted to focus in on the using your emotions against you. Okay? Oftentimes you will find this in people. Sometimes, and keep in mind, just because somebody has some of the characteristics does not mean that they are going to use your emotions against you, right? Like, it's based on the person, honestly. You know, the person. Some people, that's what they do. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they do. They're trying to find a way to get you to disarm yourself from your guard, right? Because oftentimes maybe you might be on guard if you're not fully aware of this person. Sometimes it's the thing that really frustrates me about this topic and this subject is that sometimes a genuine, honest person may exhibit some of these behaviors, but it's their intentions. So it's always about the intentions, right? Which you can't really honestly read someone's intentions. Because somebody that's charming could just be a charming person, but could also be a serial killer. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things where I just want to point out some of those things that you can notice around everything. That way you don't just look at, oh, if you're charming, I can't deal with you, because that's just not right. It's not fair. But there are other things and other indicators that you'll really know outside of like the main concern, which is the using your emotions against you. Okay. I will tell you this. The reason why I wanted to talk about this was because this was something that I kind of picked up on, but I picked up on it way late, like so late. Okay. But if you know somebody that, the interesting thing about it is that somebody that can use other people's emotions against them could be really good in certain positions, right? Like, I see you could be a really good fundraiser. If you know how to use people's emotions against you, I would be like, you know what, that's great. Why don't you come and run my funding campaign? Let's go ahead and get you on the funding team so we can have you, okay, using this, emotions to kind of help us fund this business, right? Like, in certain professional aspects, it's really good. Everybody's characteristics can be used in some way, but the issue is that oftentimes, when you see these types of things, it's attached to a bunch of negative bullshit. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to talk about some of the things that you got to look for that maybe your mom wasn't fully able to explain. And I don't feel like I fully explained it. So I think this video is going to be a multiple part video. I think we're going to talk about this in multiple ways, because I want to take some time to sit down and write more details about what this actually looks like. Okay. I will tell you what it feels like. It feels like, you're able, it's very interesting, because in reality, when you love somebody and when you're with somebody, you want to make them feel better. Like, you just want to make sure that whatever they're experiencing and whatever they're going through, that they know that they're not alone. But the bad thing about that is that at some point you have to know when to cut the cord on allowing that person to continue on. Okay. Now, if you're looking at somebody who has a never-ending pity party, then you know that this might be somebody who uses emotions against other people, or they use their own emotions against other people as well. Now, like I said, intention is so important in this conversation, because intentions can make the difference in the outcome of what this could be, right? Because somebody may not have bad intentions, right? Or their intentions may not be to make you do whatever they want them to do. Maybe their intentions is that they're experiencing something and they just need a shoulder to cry on, which is not a bad thing. See, the fucked up thing about this generation is that we have so many things that we have to talk about as it relates to healing from specific issues and traumas and stuff like that. But sometimes this generation takes everything super literally, which is not the worst thing in the world, but we have to find the balance. And I think that is the issue, is finding the balance between these topics and between what's realistically acceptable, right? And I think it may just depend upon you and what you can deal with and what's good for you. But early on in relationships, you should be paying attention to somebody who's doing a lot of projecting, a lot of insecurities. You should be paying attention to how someone handles their emotions. You should be paying attention to someone wanting to isolate you. Okay, extreme isolation is something that you want to be paying attention to. And then you want to be paying attention to someone who may kind of always be in this like Eeyore mood or whatever. Or if you met this person and they were like Eeyore when you met them, and y'all started to become friendly and stuff like that, and then from there, your relationship grows, and it stems from there. I think it's important to try your best to, not to say that you can't meet people when you're in a down mood, but remember, the energy that that other people might be in, or that you might be in when you meet someone, could end up being the energy that they end up being in for the rest of their lives. Okay, I just want you to know that. And that's not saying that it has to be that way, but it's just important for you to pay attention to that. Okay. It's important for you to pay attention to how this person is responding to life. Is this person always depressed? Is this person always angry? Is this person always sad? Is this person always overwhelmed or always stressed? Or in some way you feel like you have to like always console this person, and always like if it always seems like you're always having to like pick this person up, then that's something you want to pay attention to, because this could be, it could mean that this person needs to go to counseling. They need therapy. Okay. And that's something that you may be able to suggest, but it could also be a situation where this person may in the future learn how to manipulate your emotions and use your emotions against you to control you. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there for now. We are going to come back on this conversation in the future. We're going to talk about this again, because this is a very important topic, because it could keep a lot of young girls from being in fucked up situations. Thank you for tuning in today. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Jeff. Hey, May, how's it going? Subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications each and every time that I upload a new video, and most definitely smash the like button. Just really quickly, did anybody have any, additives that they wanted to add to this? Please add any additional points that you may have. But in the meantime, be aware that we have our ancestor money is back in stock. We will also be having very brand new spiritual kits, spiritual baths available. And what else am I going to be doing? I think I'm going to go back to the herb box as well. I want to put the herb box back on the line, but I think what I'm doing is I might be rebranding the herb box and the herb kit. So just be aware of that if you guys are interested in getting some herbs, fresh herbs, bulk herbs, and also your spiritual baths that are made. So we've got the Hex Breaker Energy Boost. We've got Sensual Lovers. We've got all sorts of really good spiritual baths that can be beneficial to you when you might need a pick-me-up, okay? What else we've got going on? Just that's it for now. We've got our ancestor money as well. So if you guys are interested, then you can certainly reach out to me via email, or you can go to my website at AquaStarGoddess.com. I will come back probably a little bit later. I've been working on something and I just wanted to take a break to have this conversation, but I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.